What's up, guys? Frugal BC, and today I am talking about my newest Algorand price prediction, what some other people think the prediction is for the next week, and why I'm shutting down my Algorand DeFi experiment. All that on today's Frugal BC. Before we get to that, guys, if you wouldn't mind hitting the like button and subscribe to the channel to see all our Algorand and other coin news. We have a lot of cool stuff coming up in the future. We've got a Christmas special that we're working on, so keep an eye out for that. And remember, you don't have to smash the like button or subscribe button. You can just press both of those gently, and it works just fine. Also, a big shout out to our sponsors, Non-Fungible Domains. If you want to get one of those .algo addresses, they are the place to do it. Link in the description. And Fractal Monsters, a very cool play-to-earn game on the Algorand blockchain. You can play for free in the link below, or you can buy one of the critters and actually earn crypto for playing with your little monsters. So shout out to both of those. I appreciate you guys' support for the channel. And meanwhile, I did a little experiment. I'm going to talk about my crypto experiment, my DeFi experiment too, and why I'm winding that down. We will get to that, but first, I want to talk a little bit about price predictions and what people are thinking for the next week. Now, we've had a very good week in Algorand. Hitting up to 14 cents from, we were down below 9 cents at one point, so it's very nice to see. And let's just take a look where we're at now. Well, as you can see, that's coming up on the screen, and you probably saw it behind me as well. But Algorand just below 14 cents. So we've had a pretty good run up as of late. I mean, it's down a little bit. We actually crossed over, inching up towards 15 cents before coming back down again, and that happens, of course, but you can see the overall trend is definitely on the upswing, and that's good to see. Now, this is right from Coinbase. This is their trading platform that Vestige pulls in their Oracle, but we got it going down from the 26th. We were still down around the 10-cent range, so in a couple 3 weeks there, pulled all the way back up to above 14 cents, now holding at 14. So I wanted to ask people what people thought it was going to do. And this is the 7-day. Now, this was this morning, so it's since I took this little snapshot, of course, it's gone down a little bit, but in 7 days, it went up almost 11%. Obviously not the same as Solana or some other coins, but I asked people, hey, let's celebrate 14 cents as we work our way back up. What do you think Algorand will do this week? Ice Age Trail, good friend of the channel, he said, expecting rejection at 15 cents because people who bought 8 cents will take profits. And we are going to see that. We are going to see when a lot of these coins pump that people are going to take profits, and it makes sense, and you should do it. I've been taking profits on the way up for Solana and PYR because those have doubled already, and that allowed me to take a little money off the table with still plenty of kindling left to light that fire in the bull run. So I think it's a good strategy to start shaving off a little bit of profits so that you can start working your way to moonbags. What is a moonbag? A moonbag is when you have taken all the initial investment out and everything that's left up is nothing but profit. That's a moonbag. I don't think you have to necessarily get there right away, and I could have pulled all that out and just made moonbags, tomorrow, but I'm not going to do that. However, now with Algorand, I think a lot of people are probably, the one reason I disagree with this, and I'm not, not bashing Ice Age, he's a good dude. The one reason I reject that principle is because I think a lot of people are going to be underwater at 15 cents. I think there's probably a few people that did not have any Algorand and then suddenly bought in at 9 cents. There's probably a few people out there, but I think most people probably were into Algorand long before this point. And so even my own position overall, I'm at around 23 cents. So I'd have a long way to go to take profit anyway, but that's one prediction. Crypto for Change, friend of the channel, said 15 to 17 cents would be nice, and I absolutely agree with that. I really like this AI Works algo. I gotta look into that more. That is such a cool photo. I gotta make sure I look at that. Maybe I can make something like that. And CoinBucket said a bump to 18 to 22 cents would be nice. Happy Human said hopefully better than last week and worse than next week. I understand what he's saying there. 22 cents, 20 cents, $5, I hope. Well, so wouldn't that be nice? But that's more my target for the end of the bull run, and that's at the top. That's where I think it's going to go. But Desert Crypto says, I bought more, so it'll probably retrace. Yeah, isn't that always the case? Nia Trance is on the way to 15. Third 1 week, 15 cents. 16 cents. A lot of people are pretty conservative, saying 16 cents within the next week. I really hope so. I'd love to see that. Bullish above the 200-day moving average. So it doesn't take a lot to get people talking about this. Now, I like what we're seeing, but the premise that I said a long time ago is that Algorand just doesn't seem to move the way the other coins moved, and I think that's largely been true. Most of the time it's underperforming the market, and you'll see from my crypto experiment, which I will get to next, how much Algorand has underperformed Bitcoin this year. It's really bad. We'll get to that, but generally, we've seen some nice things from Algorand. It has been going up, like I said it would, but not as much as the other coins. That's why I'm putting the range at $3 to $5, 3 on the low end, 5 in the very best case scenario. I just can't see it going over 5. Some people get mad when you don't give a specific price prediction, but I just think that'd be really silly to do. I think anyone who knows what they're talking about, knowing you can make good range guesstimates, but anyone saying, oh, it's going to be $3.52, they're just wrong. It's just going to be wrong. You're going to be wrong because nobody knows that. Nobody has any way to know that. But I think a $3 to $5 Algorand at the top of the bear market, I think even $5 is optimistic. I'm actually thinking maybe even if I had to really pin it down, I'd bet $2.50 to $3. Now remember, Algorand launched at over $3. It's never hit that price since. Kind of a botched launch. I believe it was a Dutch auction they used. And that was something DZ pointed out when he was on my channel. So very interesting. Well, I want to show you the experiment now, and I'll tell you why I'm shutting this down in a minute here. But this is the latest chart that I made with a combination of Python and ChatGPT, which just allows me to do it. I can make this on my own, but it would take me like 45 minutes to do all the coding when ChatGPT can do it in about 5 minutes. Not even. 5 minutes, like 5 to 10 minutes total process. But you can see Bitcoin, and just to explain this really briefly, I entered 3 different Algorand DeFi platforms. I added Saucer Swap since, so it kind of doesn't count, but it kind of does. But I don't compare it too closely because it didn't start at the same time. It started much later. 3 different DeFi accounts, and then I calculated what $100 worth of Algo and $100 worth of BTC was at the time and tracked what that investment would look like. As you can see, Bitcoin now at $140, so 40% up since March when I started this experiment. Algorand is at the very bottom except for Folks Finance, and that's a long story I'll explain in a minute. Algorand hasn't even reached $60. So $100 when I started this experiment of Algorand is now worth less than $60, where $100 of Bitcoin is worth $140. So when I say that Algorand tends to underperform, that's what I'm talking about. And I love the tech. I love everything about Algorand, the way it works. The dApps, you can actually use it. So a lot of the Algorand stuff, I don't see it as a buy and hold coin. I see it as a buy and use coin. Maybe I'll make that a meme or something. Get a little bull from that AI algo, whatever that was. So one little caveat here, TinyMan is not the original and Folks Finance is not the original DeFi platforms. They replaced ones that either like Humble, TinyMan replaced Humble because Humble suddenly had no coins that I thought were worthwhile. And Folks Finance replaced AlgoStake when it collapsed. But the reason I did this experiment, that my premise was that a lot of times you will actually lose more from the underlying coins decreasing in value than the APY that you're receiving. And I suspected that for a long time. Now it seems abundantly clear that that's the case. That's what my experiment has really shown. Obviously, it's going to do better in a bull run than a bear market, but it seems very obvious that that is a real concern, especially when you have assets that you're not going to want to hold on to. Now, if you got Algorand and a stablecoin pair, which is what my TinyMan one is in, that's a little bit safer because you only have one asset that can decrease versus having 2 that could potentially decrease. And especially if you run like these ASAs that are lesser known, I mean, they could go to next to nothing. They could just drop like a rock and you're in trouble. You're holding this thing, and once the DeFi platform ends, your APY ends, so what are you getting now? Now you're stuck with this coin. That happened to me with Board. I was doing the Board thing on Yieldy, and the bottom fell out of it, and it was like worthless. And I was making like so much per day, but I was losing way more from the coin depreciating. What I found is the safest, and I'll actually show you this one. This is the one I like a lot. This is the US dollar coin, US Dollar Tether. And you know why I like it? Because those are 2 stable coins. So those are pretty much going to stay the same value. They can't really decrease in price. Now, sometimes they do depeg, I understand that, but for the most part, they're going to stay the same. And you're making like between the pool and rewards about 20%, 21% right now. It's been lower. It's gone up and down, but it's stayed right around 20%. And I've had it for 25 days. And in that 25 days, I've made 800 as the investment. So I've made like $10.18. And I did not have 800 in that whole time. I've been building and putting more and more in as I collect money from various things. I've been kind of focusing and putting a lot of money into this. So, but that's still pretty good. It's about, right now, it's about 45 cents a day. So, you know, you can see what it would take to get 45 cents a day times 30 is about $15. So, you know, with 10 times that amount, you'd be making like $150 a month. And with 80,000, if you had 80,000 invested into this thing, you'd be making $1,500 a month. And where I live, that's actually, I can actually come pretty close to living on that most months, believe it or not. Obviously, if you're in California or New York, that is not even going to be close, but it maybe be a good chunk of your bills, which off of only 80,000, that's really impressive. Of course, this is going to end in January 11th. I don't know if they're going to have a new version. I hope they do, because this is a great pool and I would love to stick with it. But that's my favorite right now, because I never want to say anything is completely safe, because nothing in crypto is ever completely safe. There's always a slight possibility of something going wrong, but I would say of things in crypto, that is one of the safest, with a really stable API and a nice APY. I mean, 20%. There's not many things that you can get 20%, especially with that low of a risk. Always some risk, but that's pretty low. Let's see. And of course, that's going to change because the rewards aren't algo, so I don't know how much that's going to change as the price of algo changes, but that's one of my favorites right now. Anyway, so that's my Algorand price prediction. And why am I ending the experiment? Because I think I've shown what I needed to show with this. I don't think I'm going to learn anything new from doing another few months. And also, like, everything I made a lot of changes in the middle of it, which isn't ideal. You know, I didn't see that algo stake would go under. And I think that's an important part of the experiment, but also, like, I only have one of the three that made it all the way through. The other two had to be changed. So the Commodore one is the only one that made it all the way through. So I think what I'm going to do is maybe restart at the beginning of the year and do a new experiment. And I might think of a new structure and how to do that. I haven't just fully decided yet. Maybe I just don't want to do it. Maybe I just want to, like, put money in the things as I see fit, because I've kept these things here and I've not changed them unless I absolutely had to. Humble was the only one I changed where I probably didn't have to, just because none of the coins looked remotely like something I wanted to put my money in. Because I knew, like, the more obscure the coin, the more volatile the price action is likely to be, and just the most likely it's just going to go to zero and wipe you out. So then algo stake, I thought that was going to be pretty solid. That was definitely a lesson learned, because I thought algo stake would be solid because the money stayed in your wallet. But the problem is, if you're using the native coin, which is something I identified as a major risk, if you're using the coin of the platform, if the platform goes away, guess what happens to the coin? I mean, I was at 140 almost on algo stake, and I got wiped out at $15, $15.50, something like that. And there's nothing you can do there. You just got to take your loss. You know, you could hang on to it and ride it all the way to zero, but it's not going back up because the platform's gone. You know, Algorand, I still have like 10 Algorand, which I think I paid like 10 cents for, so not a giant loss. But yeah, that's never going up. I've every once in a while I look at it just out of curiosity. But anyway, I'd love to hear what your thoughts about the overall experiment. It started on NifGen as a NifGen exclusive. Obviously that went away, and so a lot of the early stage videos are actually gone, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is. I want to hear what you guys think about this experiment. What do you think about price prediction? What's your price prediction for the next week or two? And then what's your price prediction overall for the bull market? And we're looking into late 2024, I think, for those peaks. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Subscribe if you haven't already. Check out our sponsors, because they are helping keeping Frugal VC going, and we appreciate their support. And as always, I'm Frugal VC, and I will see you in the future.